meeting. We'll call this meeting to order, and we will begin by the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilman Henderson.
Would you please stand? I've enlisted the help of two of my favorite grandchildren this afternoon. This is Caitlin and Carson Rowell. They're going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Kate's first started doing the pledge with us when she was about 3 years old, and Carson probably about the same age. We're proud of him. Would you bow your heads with me, please? Lord, we come to you this afternoon asking for your help with our thoughts to be clear and our motives to be right and to be pure. Guide our meeting tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Have a motion on the minutes? Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. We do have one special presentation on our agenda this evening, a Bayberry Apartments proclamation. Councilman Byrd, it's all you.
Thank you so much, and thank everyone. Could I have the Bayberry staff and all partners and people come up, the officers that work at Bayberry Apartment Complex? Thank you so much. A lot of you, some of you who don't know, the Bayberry Apartments, now Bayberry Apartments, used to be called the Old Woodlawn Apartments, and it's in my district in Avondale. And this is just an amazing, joyous occasion. And I wanted to read this off. My grandmother used to always tell me, give people their flowers while they're living and while they're here. And this is something that we do at the city, and I just wanted to present this proclamation to you to just recognize the great work that you guys are doing, and I'm super proud that you're in my district. So here we go. Chattanooga Council Proclamation. Whereas Bayberry Apartments employees and residents have taken steps to become a resilient and sustainable community and now serves as a shining example of what happens when a community participates in advancing the quality of life for its residents. Under ALCO management, Bayberry Apartments provide educational and employment opportunities for its residents. Bayberry also has worked with Chattanooga Police Department to keep checks on the safety and welfare of all its residents. Whereas needs are being met at Bayberry and the surrounding area through various community outreach programs, such as on-site GED programs, summer reading programs, and job fairs, their annual back-to-school bash provides school supplies and uniforms to hundreds of children throughout the district. Bayberry Apartments has started a community garden in partnership with United Way and Southern Adventist University that will help its residents live active and healthy lives. And whereas Bayberry Apartments has demonstrated the commitment and dedication needed to foster a thriving community within the city of Chattanooga. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Anthony Byrd, Chattanooga City Councilman for District 8, do recognize and commend the achievements of the Bayberry Apartments community on this second day of April 2019, signed by Councilman Anthony Byrd. And just thank you guys so much for all that you do.
We want to thank the City Council, definitely, particularly Councilman Ledford. He was gracious enough to help us with a sign for our community development room. We are right now indebted to Councilman Byrd for partnering with us just to make sure, because I probably call him 100 times a month. Okay, we want to do this at Bayberry, we want to do this. Our main goal is to care for the community and give access. So on-site GED programs, Medicaid signups, community gardens, after-school programs. Those are also that the residents will have access to maybe what they didn't have access before. And it wouldn't happen without city partnerships. The Chattanooga Police Department, they're boots on the ground for us. They care, and they want to make sure that the residents feel safe and comfortable. Because if anybody's familiar with what used to be the Woodlawns, it wasn't considered a safe place. So everybody that's come up now, they've re-nicknamed it Mayberry. Because we don't have shootings, we're not having break-ins, people are excited to be there. And we actually got our first call today where somebody asked us, do you guys do a tutoring program? Because they know that if we don't have it, we're gonna try to get it there. So a special thanks to Brandon Ritchie, our maintenance head, our Chattanooga Police Department Officer Mark Pollard, Sergeant Patrick Hubbard, our Assistant Manager Valerie Copeman, our regional Marsha West, and Father to the Fatherless, Ms. Patricia Gurley Hollins. These are all the people that make it possible, so we want to thank you today for this honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, just one moment, just one moment. So I remember hearing of a little dream called Bayberry a little while back, and it was at the time still the Woodlawns. And there was a desire, if for lack of even a grander term, for what it could be and what it could do for the community in that area. And when we were able to move forward and actually take those steps, I think everybody had their fingers crossed, their toes crossed, that it would turn into something great. And I think from everything that I've heard and from you being here this evening, all the partners being here, Councilman Byrd, and what you're proclaiming as well, I think it has turned into something greater than we ever expected. And that's what we need more of in our community. So thank you so much, and continue your work, but expand it as you are ever able to. And if there's anything this body can do to help you do that, please let us know. Thank you. I have one other light here. Councilman Ledford, do you have a comment?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. I just want folks to know I just want folks to know how grateful I am for the services that you're offering. I had an opportunity to spend time with you all and to hear about your story, about getting involved in people's lives and where people come from and trying to help them move forward. And, you know, as we were talking, sharing my story about how I grew up with a single mom, and we were on food stamps, and things were tight, and she did the best she could, and those opportunities that you all provided reminded me of where I grew up, and I just thank you all so much because you're giving that encouragement to so many people, and I see it, and I'm there to help you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I think that the city council is helping through the renovations and doing what we're doing, and the work that you're doing is not only inspiring, but you make me want to do more. You make me want to be a better man. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. With that, Madam Clerk, let's get on to the agenda. We have ordinances on final reading. 5A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties. Let me start that over, and I'm going back to 5A. An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 2, Section 249, relating to legal liability claims.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. Let's move on to ordinances on first read. 6A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located in the 6200 block of Vance Road, more particularly described herein, from R1 residential zone to M2 manufacturing zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right. Is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, Did you give the corrected map to the city attorney?
We did, and it's noted under revised, and I have a hard copy
I have a hard copy
for the record
here.
if you like.
Yeah, I've got it. Then I move approval.
Thank you. I've got Councilman Gilbert. Second? Okay, great. Thank you. I've got a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. Takes us to resolutions. Madam Clerk, let's go with 7A, please.
A resolution approving a special exceptions permit for an existing liquor store change in ownership located at 5987 Brainerd Road.
Pleasure of the council. Your
Yes,
light's not
ma'am.
on. Councilwoman Burrs.
Sure. I'm to understand that this is just a change of ownership only.
Yes, ma'am. Change
Correct.
of ownership.
Okay. And all the proper research has been done,
Yes, ma'am.
and these people are acceptable to own the liquor store.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I move approval.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Sir, B, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to enter into an agreement with Judge Walter Williams to serve as a public officer and to conduct demolition hearings for a 12-month period with the option to extend the agreement an additional 3 terms of 12 months in length for a total period not to exceed 48 months.
Councilman Gilbert. Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. C, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a First Amendment and renewal of license agreement in substantially the form attached with River City Ducks LLC for the non-exclusive use of the Ross's Landing ramp.
It's a pleasure of the council. Move approval. Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. D, please.
A resolution to temporarily suspend the application and enforcement of the International Energy Conservation Code 2012 edition as it applies to 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhouses, and to instead apply and enforce the 2009 edition of said code.
It's a pleasure of the council.
Move approval.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. E, please.
A resolution to amend resolution number 29833 adopted on March 12, 2019, adopting new rules of operation for the Chattanooga City Council.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Sir, I move the adoption of the alternate. Would you like, should that be read, or how would you like that?
Mr. Attorney, can you read the differences for the?
Sure can. The alternate version has a provision for Article 5, council expense reimbursement or advance payment. And it has the provisions that members of the council may request reimbursement for advance payment of travel, room, and board expenses for travel up to $6,000 per council member per year for their reasonable, necessary, and actual expenses incurred in the performance of their official duties in accordance with the City of Chattanooga's travel regulations, which are attached to that version. It also says that members who shall request approval of advance payment or reimbursement from the chair will either approve or disapprove the request. In the event the chair disapproves a member's request, the member can appeal the chair's decision to the council's Budget and Finance Committee, which may by majority vote recommend to uphold the chairperson's decision or approve the expense reimbursement. That's what it says.
Thank you. I move approval.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Seeing no other lights, all in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. F, please.
A resolution authorizing the Chief Information Officer, CIO, and the City Finance Officer, CFO, to enter into a letter of intent with Application Software Technology LLC, AST, for Oracle Cloud ERP implementation to include a termination for non-appropriation of funds during fiscal year 2019-2020, subject to terms and conditions for total cost for software annually in the amount of $575,000 for a total project cost of $4,796,584.
Well, it's a pleasure of the council. I think I heard a motion and a second down there. All in favor, say aye. Opposed is nay. G, please.
A resolution authorizing the chief of the Chattanooga Police Department to execute a one-year contract with Forensic Logic for the purpose of maintaining the CopLink software platform, as well as complementary data integration services to be active from January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019, for a total cost of maintenance and services not to exceed $39,307.
Councilman Henderson.
Move approval.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. H, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to apply for and accept, if awarded, and execute all necessary documents under the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Natural Resource Conservation Service, NRCS, Emergency Watershed Protection Program relative to storm damage from the February 6, 2019 storms at or near Arbor Creek Way, and authorizing the city's 25% share for an estimated amount of $300,000.
Councilman Mitchell.
Move approval.
Second, sir. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. Aye, please.
A resolution authorizing the city attorney to develop an interlocal agreement with Hamilton County so that the city and county can conduct a benefit analysis study concerning consolidated services between the Moccasin Bend Wastewater Treatment Plant and WWTA.
Councilman Henderson, followed by Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think part of our job up here is to always be looking at a way to provide services in a more efficient way. The County Commission passed a very similar resolution last week, 7-2, to enter into an agreement to look at consolidating the services between WWTA and the Moccasin Bend Wastewater Treatment Plant. I move approval of this resolution tonight.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In agreement with Councilman Henderson, anytime we can find a pathway to better information or find ways to maximize the resources of taxpayers, I think it's not a waste of time. And sometimes looking down a different road. And this resolution is simply a study to take a look at some options. And I think that anytime we can do that for the benefit of the people, we're in good shape. I'll second that.
Thank you. Councilwoman Burrs.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer the mover a friendly amendment to include the WWTA in the discussion.
The language that was read, Councilwoman, says between Moccasin Bend Wastewater Treatment Plant and WWTA. Were you wanting
The
to
agreement is an interlocal agreement with Hamilton County. I think it has to include the WWTA since they are the service deliverer.
So you would like that after?
So I am asking for a friendly amendment.
Just a moment, ma'am. Okay, hit your button, Councilman. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Attorney, do you see any problems with adding that language to this interlocal agreement?
No, sir. All our governmental entities would be able to enter into that.
I would accept that as a friendly amendment.
Second.
All right, so the language will be a resolution authorizing the city attorney to develop an interlocal agreement with Hamilton County and WWTA so that the city and county can conduct a benefit analysis study concerning consolidated services between Moccasin Bend Wastewater Treatment Plant and WWTA. Is that correct? Thank you, ma'am. We've got that is an amendment, so that was a motion for an amendment.
Well, it's a friendly amendment, and I,
You don't do friendlies. It's fine. It's an amendment.
okay, fine,
And a second, correct?
yes.
All right. So we've got a motion and a second for the amendment. Hold on just a second. I've got some other lights here. Councilman Mitchell.
No, I was just going to second her friendly amendment.
Opposed to hostile amendment. Okay. Councilwoman Coonrod, I see your light too, ma'am. Is that regarding the amendment? I've got a motion and a second for the amendment that adds WWTA into the language. So we're going to take that first. All in favor of the amendment to add WWTA to the language, say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay? Nay. Abstain. We've got 4, 5.
5 to 1, okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve as amended.
All right, thank you, sir. Now I've got a motion and a second to approve as amended. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay? Nay. No. Yes, sir. All right, passes with 5. Thank you, sir. Jay, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to apply for and, if awarded, accept a grant from the Riverview Foundation for expansion of the Bike Chattanooga electric bicycle fleet in the amount of $80,000.
Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the Hills in District 2, I'll be looking forward to receiving some of these electric bicycles, Mr. Bailey, and I move for approval.
Didn't you get some from the last grant?
Who remembers?
Who's counting? All right, thank you, sir. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. All right, that is the last item on our regular agenda, which takes us to purchases. Sweater?
We have 10 items for your consideration tonight. The first being on behalf of the Police Department. It's for a new blanket contract for Sig Sauer P320 pistols and accessories. It's to be awarded to Accurate Law Enforcement in an estimated annual amount of $300,000. The remaining 9 purchases being on behalf of the Public Works Department. First, we have a blanket contract renewal for Titleist and FootJoy golf equipment to be awarded to Acushnet Company in an estimated annual amount of $75,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for Wash and Crush Stone to be awarded to Vulcan Materials Company in an estimated annual amount of $750,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for paint and paint supplies to be awarded to first Sherwin-Williams Company and second PPG Architectural Finishes, Inc., and a total estimated annual amount of $90,000. Next, blanket contract renewals for grounds maintenance to first City Green Services and second to ERMC 3 Property Management Company, LLC, and a total estimated annual amount of $283,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for paving and concrete repair to be awarded to TNT Concrete, LLC, an estimated annual amount of $200,000. Next, blanket contract renewal for overhead crane maintenance and repair service to be awarded to Cone Cranes in an estimated annual amount of $100,000. Next, 3 new blanket contracts for grounds maintenance for city parks to be awarded to first Elicity CMS, second Precision Property Management, and third, City Green Services, in a total estimated annual amount of $170,000. The next, a purchase of 40-inch single-deck Vibra screen separators to be awarded to Case Corporation in a total amount of $29,458. And finally, the increase to the authorized expenditure for portable toilet services, which is awarded to American Router and Portables LLC, and a revised estimated annual amount of $50,000.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Mitchell.
Mr. Chair, I'll wait till we take action on these purchases, but I do have a question for Mr. Holland as it relates to the golf courses after that.
Okay. Do I have, okay, I've got a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, thank you. I've got a motion and a second to approve purchases. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. Sorry, Councilman Mitchell, what's your light, sir? There you go.
Mr. Holland, we put some money into studying the golf course operations, and I just was wanting a quick update on the status of that.
Thank you, sir. So we have met with our consultant a number of times. He's been to Chattanooga and made some evaluations, and we'll be back in Chattanooga to re-engage staff. And at that after that, we'll have an update on his results.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. Chair.
Good. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Holland. That takes us down to other business. Is there any other business the council would like to discuss this evening? Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to appoint someone to the board and sign of appeals for District 8. I got an okay today, and that person would be Mallory Marsh of Avenue. If you would stand up, please. She lives in our community and is a very avid person when it comes to the community and works very hard. And I think she would serve as an awesome person for the board and sign of appeals. And I would like to appoint her if that's.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mallory.
Thank you for your willingness to serve. He didn't make you do it or twist your arm or anything, did he? No. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. I passed out some information about the Census 2020. If you all will please help spread the word. We want to make sure that everybody is in the know about this, making sure that everybody is getting counted. It's very important. So that's Thursday, April the 4th at the Public Library, 5:30 until 7:30. Again, it's very important that you all help us to get this information out into our communities. If you are on social media, just take a picture, upload it, so your people can see it. That's friends with you. And then also, starting this Friday, April the 5th, we're having Black Fridays at Miller Park. Everybody is invited to come. It's a part of economics, diversity, and inclusion, and it's just a series to spark economic empowerment for African American communities that's in Chattanooga, and making sure that we're supporting those individuals. Just a couple of statistics. According to University of Georgia, economic growth, money circulates 0 to 1 time within the African American community compared to circulating more than 6 times in Latino communities, 9 times, and communities in unlimited times in the white community. So we're just encouraging business owners, people to come out, be supportive. If you're a vendor, if you're an artist, any of those entities, please come out. It's free to attend. Just want to make sure that we're, supporting, and we show exactly what support looks like. Again, everybody is invited to come to it, so we hope to see you there. And this is on this Friday, 7:30.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Chair. Today I had the honor to go down to Riverfront and see the Aspen Mobile Dental truck that is parked down in front of the Cold Creamery. And it was really interesting because there's so many volunteers down there from local Aspen dental offices that donated their time today. And I found out a lot of interesting information. They're serving our veterans free of charge. And I'm glad to say that this was the 2nd year in a row, correct? This was sponsored by the Southeast Veterans Coalition. And they were packed, and they're fitting more people in as they came, so they're filling up reservations. And I asked them, I said, is this because we have, are we seeing a greater need? And they're like, we're expanding, we're coming more often, and we're doing more trips. And I just think that it's a great thing that we get together and we do these amazing things together, and I just think it makes for a better community. And I wanted to let people know, I went down there and looked at it, and I got to meet some people, and I saw a lot of great smiles, and I saw people that were really, truly grateful, and they were looking out for our veterans. And I think anytime we can do that, we're doing something good, and I want to encourage people to check it out, and maybe get more involved with the Southeast Veterans Coalition. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilwoman Coonrod, I see your light again? Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I had one more thing to announce. Several people, more than several people in the community have been calling Facebook Live and just in concerns about what's going on with the investigation with Officer Piazza. And as a council, as you all know, that we asked for the TBI to come in and do that investigation. And of course, as a community member and even as an elected official, it's been, well, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? And reaching out to the city attorney to get those answers as well, and he's not been in the know. So I contacted TBI today and just asked those questions that I've been asked with the community. And so the investigation is still ongoing. They want to make sure that they're covering everything in the investigation and making sure that nothing is, not attended to or addressed. And once they complete the investigation, then it will be up to Neil Pinkston to bring charges or whatever he's going to do with that. So if you all want to, start a calling campaign, an email campaign, anything that you feel necessary that you need to do on your end to make sure that they know that, hey, we're still watching and we're not going to tolerate police brutality. Then, hey, I ask you all to join me, others on the council, in getting that done. You can also call TBI yourself and just stay on them about it, because we don't want anyone to think that we've forgotten about it and time goes on and then it's brushed up under the rug. We're going to take a stand against police brutality and make sure that this is not going unwarranted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I see no further lights. Mr. Attorney, you do have 2 items.
Yes, sir. There was a change in ownership of an establishment called BHEE LLC, DBA Island Point Wine and Spirits. It's at the location of 5987 Brainerd Road, and we just need to get 5 signatures on the document for this evening on there for that item.
Right. Thank you. There you go, Councilman.
The other one is that item that we had for this evening is that pursuant to the city code on here, anytime someone gets a benefit here that is more than $50, there has to be notification that the department may accept on behalf comped registration for 2 of the IT folks, Brent Messer and Brian Sylvanis, to go to the Google Cloud Next conference that will be held on April 9th through April the 11th. And they are getting a compensation from the Google people of $1,967. And if that is presented to the council, it's my understanding we need to do that to make sure that it's not a gift or gratuity that is unknown.
All right. And the amount you're saying that is the gift is actually just for the comped registrations, not actual?
Yes, it's not actual payment, it's just for the entrance into the registration at the Google Cloud Next conference. And it's going to be held here beginning April the 9th, I guess, in California.
All right.
Yes,
thank you, sir. All right, that takes us down to committee reports. Councilwoman Burrs? No report. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Byrd? No report. Councilwoman Coonrod? No report. Councilman Gilbert? No report. Councilman Henderson? No report. Councilman Ledford?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Planning and Zoning Committee did meet today. We covered all of our both items. Thank you, Dr. Burgess, for having those. We covered an update on steep slopes, floodplains, Area 12 and 3 area plans, and also we touched on several other items will be coming up in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilman Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had Public Works and Transportation meeting today, and we will have another one in 2 weeks after agenda session.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, that brings us to the point in our agenda of recognition of persons wishing to address the council on non-agenda matters. Is there anybody here this evening that would like to address the council? Yes? All right, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, sir. Please come up to the microphone that's available for the speaking tonight on here. Anyone that wishes to speak in the microphone this evening here can be recognized by the chair. This is an opportunity that's offered at the end of every meeting here for folks that are not on the agenda to be able to speak. in connection with your meeting here this evening here, please do not use any type of derogatory language in connection with your speaking on here, and address your discussion to the body as a whole here as you're going along. You can only speak for 3 minutes at a time here during this evening, and you can't be recognized more than 2 times in a 2-week time period, ma'am, so go right ahead.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Carla Leslie, United Steelworkers, Local 15120. We work at Pigman's Pride plant, and we know that y'all have an ordinance on Pigman's Pride for a noxious odor and health and nuisance. We come here today to ask the City Council to please vote no on this ordinance. That plant has been there for 50 years. And in the past 50 years, 60 years, it's been there in that same spot. Due to the apartment complex and the developers developing next to it, now we want to have an ordinance on that. So we just asking the City Council to please vote, because that is our job. Vote no on that. That is our job. We work there. And due to the apartment complex, we need the developers, the city, and Pigman's Pride to work together. We're not here speaking for Pigman's Pride. We're here speaking for employees that work there. I've been there 29 years, and they can tell you how long they've been there as well. So we're just asking you to please vote no on this city ordinance. If we can work together to contain that smell, that would be better for the community. That would be better for the residents, better for the city, better for the Pigman's Pride employees and those that work there. That plant has been there in that same spot for 60 years. So I ask, why now do we want an ordinance on that when it's never been that way before? And so the ladies, they can stand up if they wish to say their name and how long they've been there.
My name is Connie Poindexter, and good evening to each and every last one of y'all. I've been there 25 years, and I'm asking the City Council to please vote no. I grew up off that. I have family members who worked there through the years, and I am now there. So I'm asking you once again, please, please vote no. Thank you.
My name is Thelma Moore. I've been there for 26 years. And I also are asking that you please vote no, because we need our jobs. Thank you.
My name is Charity Watson, and I just ask for y'all to vote no. I've been there for 13 years.
My name is Tammy Murphy, and I've been there 24 years, and I want y'all to please vote no.
My name is LaShonda Odom. I've been there 13 years, and we're asking for you all to please vote no.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mark Jackson. I am, well, the Lord is the owner of my venue, but I'm the caretaker of Venue 909, which is probably about a half a mile from the service center off of Amnicola, behind the post office. I'm here today because I have a work agreement with officers that visit my place. I have a no restriction, no law. Anytime you want to come in, come in. No restriction, I mean to say. I like safe havens. So I feel like an officer should be able to come into my establishment whenever they like to come in, because it keeps things safe and keeps things protected. And believe me, a lot of officers who come there, I have no problems. I have a problem with officers who have positions that they probably shouldn't have, that violates my customers and come in and muscle them and muscle me at my establishment without talking to me in a proper way as a business owner. And I think that's wrong. I'm just a venue. I'm only open 20% of the month. If it's Friday or a Saturday, or sometimes I'm a Tuesday night, it's not an ongoing thing because I respect my neighbors. Most of them are seniors. I cut a lot of their lawns for them. I moved there, I purchased a property in '98, and they watched me, well, they watched the Lord work my hands to do things around this place that I didn't think I could do myself. But I think that a lot of the officers in the city is great. This is a beautiful city. I brought my family here in '04, 6 years after I purchased the property. And I think that it's only right to work with a business owner the right way. I cater to all races. I'm prior military, 14 years, and UPS, 23 years. I work out of Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama for UPS. And I think that it's fair to treat me as a business owner instead of some boy or someone. It's not the way to do things. I had a customer with me Friday night in his party, and it was invaded, and it was just, we all were just treated like we were, if not slaves, and it was Caucasian and blacks there, and even some Mexican people there. We don't, like I said, we don't cater to one race, but it's not right for you to come into the establishment. And let me tell you one last thing. Out of 6 Caucasian officers, 4 of them stood back and they crossed their arms, and I saw a couple of them shaking their heads, while a sergeant and a man who's in charge of doing these investigations randomly talked to the tenant and wouldn't listen to nothing he said. He has a contract to use my place. They didn't want to hear nothing about him. They came in with a pad to write a citation. They didn't even come in to talk to me. That's unjust. When I tell you, you can come in at any time, I think that speaks for itself. Earlier that night, I spoke to a couple of officers. No officer had a card to hand me, even the sergeant. Everyone needs to respect each other. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Just a moment, sir. I've got a light on. Councilwoman Burrs? Oh, I'm sorry. I had it over on the timer. Sorry. Councilman Byrd, did you have a light? Hit your light again.
Can you hear me? There it is. Sir, your venue happens to be in my district, and I've came in contact with you several times. You've always been a upstanding citizen, gentleman, and great businessman. And I think even before I became a councilman, I had an establishment, and I had to deal with people talking to me as if I wasn't a man or if I wasn't a businessman. And sometimes I felt that, if I was of a different race or if I was of a different financial background, would they have treated me that way? So I totally understand what you're saying. And I have been in establishments, because I do know owners of establishments with that, people with different backgrounds than myself, and I've seen how they come into their establishments, or an officer or someone would come into that establishment and address them in a very respectful way, and, kind of just take their word for it. Like, hey, is there any violations, anything, or anybody here underage? And they'll talk and chum it up for a little while, and then they're going about their business. But I have seen in some establishments that, if we're looking to get closed down or create something of a nuisance, that we'll create something. And I dealt with that. And so when you was up here talking, it just was reminding me of the things that I dealt with when I was younger and I had my establishments, and how I felt like I wasn't wanted, or like I felt that way. And I do hate that. Did you get a citation, anything that night?
Yes, they gave me one for May the 2nd, and I was wondering, I was trying to compromise, just speak with the officer. He just running around like someone on drugs, like he was. And I said, this is not normal, because I normally see him at different places working. From my understanding from other people, they told me he was an officer at one time, and now he doesn't do that work no more. And I'm wondering, do they have a chain of command or something where that someone can vote their way into that position? Because some people are not, and when you bring the devil out of a person, that's the first thing that come out when you're angry about how you're treating someone's guest. So I told him, I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you're not in that position like people told me you shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And the reason I said that is because he brought the devil out first, and I had to catch myself and bring Christ back in first. But I told him that out of anger, but I said to him before he even left, I said, hey, look, I apologize for saying that to you, but you're doing something unjust here. You could have pulled me to the side and said, sir, it's just a friendly birthday party here, and you don't need a permit for a birthday party. I go to their classes that they talk to me about, I have a book with all their names and numbers in it and everything, and you still come into a venue that's not charging at the door, that don't have nothing going on. It's just a birthday party for his fiance. And I'm saying, wow, he felt violated. He has a contract with me. He's paid me for the evening. And you come in here and do this, it's just not respectable.
Today after this meeting, and I'm definitely understanding and sure of the situation you're talking about, because like I said, I've had to deal with it several times, and it didn't feel right. But I want you to know you have an ally in me, and we will get to the bottom of it. And I will make some phone calls for you. I need your information. And you say your citation is for May the 2nd?
May the 2nd.
Okay. And I really appreciate you coming down. These are the things we need community members to do, because a lot of times we don't know of these situations. We don't know when someone is being harassed. Like, we don't live on Facebook, or we're not at these events a lot of times. And if you don't call us and sometimes talk to us about it, we would never know. So I appreciate you bringing this to this body's attention. And by your venue and your business being in my district, I definitely take it personal. I want to make sure I assist you in this situation, because I know your character. And like I said, I've known and heard of your business for a while. So before you leave today, let's sit down and talk so we can see the next steps, okay?
Okay, and I just want to say that sitting here today and listening to everyone here, I really felt a lot of justice, a lot of freedom. You know, I should have been coming to these a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel like a lot of fair things have happened in here today. Just listening to other cases, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Coonrod, I've got your light.
Thank you, Chair. And sir, I apologize that you even had to experience that. And it's 2019, and when we look back over history, and this same type behavior continues to happen towards our black men, black business owners, like, it's just to the point now where it's just not acceptable. And unfortunately, we have people that's in leadership that condones that type behavior. But I must say that I just don't think that our chief of police currently, I don't think that that's his mission of the police department. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I think that, I absolutely know for certain that he has people that work for him that just undermines his work, right? But have you had the opportunity to file a claim, get with internal affairs, any of those things?
That's why I'm here today, because I need to take it to another step, because he put on Facebook, I guess someone called me today, and they told me that he was saying that I threatened him. He's not acknowledging the fact that once the Lord came in me, and I told him, I said, look, I apologize, but you stirred me up. How would you feel if someone come into your home and tell all your family to get out? Every home is different. You know, you can't do that to the people. These are my customers. You ran them out probably permanently for good. And I like to show them some photos and let them take a look at them. This started from the woods. It started from a deserted area off of Amnicola full of just trees and debris and garbage that I came from Michigan here and cleaned it up for 6 years. No one was even paying attention to it. Even my neighbors looked down on it. But now, all my neighbors, they come down there and they greet me, and they, you know, bake pies, do things, because they say it's the centerpiece of the community. I'm about working with everyone. And let me tell you something, for the officers who come there when I'm not even open and sit around and talk to me, I'm not pointing at them. It's so many beautiful officers come through there of all races, all ages. Some of them were in elementary school when I purchased this place, but they meet me at the gas station. They meet me here. Hey, Mr. Jackson, thank you for giving us the open door to come in. It's just one particular person partially just going around to different establishments, because people are calling me saying, did you have a problem too? They already know. And we need to do something about it. I don't want a person to lose their job, but there's other positions for everyone. Even in UPS, they have a different position for me when it's time to get off the road, 23 years. If I want to do something, hey, come on in, Jackson. But I'm just saying this to just let you know, we need to do something to protect all races. It's not just black, white, whatever. It's all races to have a venue. But I'll let you look at some of these, and I'll get them back from you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I agree with everything you said, except, hey, if they're gonna treat people unkind, then yeah, they absolutely need to lose their jobs, because people without a uniform, if they treat people that way, there's consequences behind it. So we have to hold them accountable to it when they're in the uniform representing the city of Chattanooga. That's just a fair process. But again, I apologize, you know, for you even having to endure that. And hopefully, Once you file the proper paperwork, you know, these things will be taken care of.
Thank you so much. Like I said, I'm just a veteran all my life, 55, no alcohol, no drugs. You're looking at a person who never had a beer, you know, and I do things the best way I can, you know. I don't have all this stuff. I just believe in him and use my hands. That's how I built that place, through him, and I think I should be protected the right way, not treated wrong. Thank you.
Councilwoman Burrs, got a lot for you.
Mr. Chair, this isn't on that topic.
I've got one more light. Councilman Gilbert, did you want to?
Charming on my colleagues, I agree with them about every human being deserves to be a human being, regardless of race or whatever you may be. But I want to ask you a question. Did you not say that something was posted on Facebook?
From what my understanding, the officer put on there that I threatened him and all this, and he had 6 of them sitting right there, and it wasn't a threat. I just told him what I felt. I felt that you shouldn't be in this position, sir, if you're doing unjust things. You're ruining someone's event, and also you're disrespecting me. I have a contract that I gave him at his office, 4-page contract done by an attorney, 2 weeks ago, letting him know the rules that I go by for anyone who rent my place. I'm never going to have a liquor license or beer license at my establishment. That's the way I feel. That's the way my family feel. We don't need that in order to have a good time. Now, if you come in here and do what you want to do, then you're going to be put out, for sure. But you don't come in here and muscle people out like this and point in my face, you got to close this, cut off that music right now, cut it off, or I'm taking you to jail. You don't do these things. It's not proper.
Well,
you have to have the right people.
I think it's inappropriate for an officer to put stuff on Facebook that's done in his job, period.
Right.
So I think that's an issue also. So I hope that, I know that Councilman Burr is going to take care of it, because like he said, he's been in that same situation. And I think that the person need to do an apology for you for whatever he done.
Right.
And I think that he will take care of it.
I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Mr.
Right, sir.
Jackson.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Ready? This goes back to the women who spoke. I don't know if you know it or not, but some of the first women that became part of the Mayor's Council for Women were from the Steelworkers Union, and we call them our Women of Steel. And yeah, okay. And I want to thank you so much for being here and for standing up for what you believe in, what I believe is right. What you may not know is that Councilman Oglesby, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, has said that he wants to have conversations. Some of us have said we also want to have conversations. The goal is not to put anybody out of work, so you have ears here listening to you, and you should be a part of those conversations. So what I want to do is tell you how proud I am of you for coming forward and standing up for what you believe in and for being those terrific women of steel. You make women like me look good. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Good evening, Council. My name's Tom Slayton. I live 1222 Peters Road, Soddy Daisy. I was just wanting to kind of say something about the chicken plants as well, because they've been here, and which came first, the chicken or the egg, and I think the chicken did this time. But, you know, we talk about smell sometimes. Well, it just depends on the direction of the wind. We could talk about Moxon Bend too. So I mean, you know, we gotta kind of work together on all of this, and if it's an odor that can be corrected, I think it could. But I'm with those young ladies there, and we don't need to. The plants were there first. Why would we want to move the plants out, kill over 2,000 jobs just for some housing projects that probably aren't even going to bring half the income into this city that the plants are doing? It doesn't make sense. And if they're going to come in, then they're just going to have to accept what there is out there. Otherwise, we're losing all of our jobs. We're losing all of our businesses, or productive businesses. And if we keep pushing everybody out, we're not gonna have anything, and we just aren't gonna be able to live off of our, oh, what do I wanna say? Well, we're just not gonna be able to take care of ourselves if we don't have some kind of business establishments that provide for citizens and employees. And some of the employees, they don't have the availability of transportation, and if they're close by, that's their job right there. Also, car to bus. I don't understand why I'd heard some word about them being in the red in a particular area or for some transit bus pickup at certain areas of the city. And I think what they're trying to suggest is that they want these people to either move closer to the city or they're gonna stop the transportation in that area, and that, I don't think that's fair either when they brag about, and I've heard they brag about over 100 or 400 plus thousand of dollars a year on parking citations. I mean, you know, they kind of contradict themselves. So. But anyway, as far as the chicken plants go, I think they should stay and the houses go. But thank you.
Councilman Byrd, did I see your light, sir?
I just, quick question to the young ladies that came up. Has it been anyone, or I keep hearing that losing jobs with the ordinance, have anyone talked to you all about or said that, you know, the chicken plant was shut down or people will get fired if this ordinance was to go through? Yes, ma'am.
From that paper that I saw, take 25 people, and when the wind blows this away, what if those, we know those 25 people are gonna say that it stinks.
Yes, ma'am.
So once the city finds Pickles Pride, what if one day they keep finding, and we come in one day, without the kill plant, debone does not work.
Mm-hmm.
We rely on the kill plant. They the ones that kill the groups.
Mm-hmm.
And say if that citation gets so high from $0 to $1,000, I'm just guessing. What if they come in one day, kill plant can't work? They can't feed their families, debone where we work at, we can't feed our families. So that's where that comes in at for us, our jobs and how we provide for our families. If it's put on paper where the company is cited for every time the wind blows, if they wanna pick 25 people, where are you picking these 25 people from? Is it all from the apartment complex?
Mm-hmm.
Is it people just in the surrounding areas? Because on that 10-block radius, we have apartment complex, high-rise apartments everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
But Pickles Pride has been there for 60 years. And I'm not saying the city of Chattanooga cannot build,
Mm-hmm.
but just gotta remember, we was there first.
You was there first.
And that's not a high-paying job.
Right. Yeah, I have an uncle that works there, so I definitely understand what you're saying. He's been there for several years. If you can, I'd like to talk to you afterwards, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there anybody else who would like to address the council this evening? All right. Thanks, sir. We are adjourned.